A mind to work. Nehemiah was deeply grieved by the news. So he went to his boss, who wasn't a friend of Israel's necessarily, and he said to his boss, I need to go and rebuild the wall. And oh, by the way, I need you to help me pay for it. And I need you to give me a rite of passage so when I go, I won't be attacked by the enemy. And by the way, I need some lumber to finish the project. So believe it or not, his boss said, sure, when do you think you'll be back? And he said, well, I'm not sure. And along the way, I may end up being the governor. But he went to Jerusalem, and the very first thing he did is he made a clear inspection of the damage and of the ruins. Didn't let anybody know. And then the next thing he did is he came back and he stated the problem very clearly. He said to the Israelites, you see the trouble that we're in. And basically he stated, God is being mocked. The enemy is attacking. We are being bound for what God wants us to do because the walls have been destroyed, our temples are broken down, and we're not honoring God with what we're doing. So the people responded, and they rallied, and they began to build. Some people built right in front of their homes, and some people built several hundred yards of the wall. But the point was, the wall was being built in record time. In fact, it only took 52 days for the wall to be built. And it said that happened because the people had a mind to work. And that's where we get the theme for our capital campaign. And as a result of that, God was glorified and the people's spirit was renewed and they rallied, and there literally was revival in the land as God showed up in a mighty way. This building behind us represents the same kind of project. Several years ago, we started 2 capital campaigns to complete this project. However, as things went south in the economy, the cost of the building kept escalating. This building, the Family Life Center, which is used by the entire community here, we use it every day in the school. We use it for wrestling, for PE, for gymnastics, for basketball, for community events. There's a huge event going on right now behind us inside with a big bounce house set up and some fundraiser for a group. In addition to all of the school activities and all the sports that take place here, all the PE programs, we also have just a number of activities that are taking place here. I actually wrote some down. Listen to some of these. Operation Christmas Child. Every year we pack over 500 shoe boxes that go. Actually, this year I think we did close to 1,000 shoe boxes. Feed My Starving Children, project that we did that involved the entire community a few years ago. Each year we do a Thanksgiving outreach. We take meals out into the community and we assemble them here and take 400 or 500 meals out each year. Our summer camps, we run summer camps here for our own children, and then several church groups come and use our facility during the summer. Even Word of Life Camp has used this facility as a special week Florida Keys camp. We also have all-nighters for our youth group. Our youth team, who is a lot younger, gets together and they stay here on all-nighters with our high school kids. We use this for many, many community youth groups, youth leagues, for basketball and other events. We host a South Florida wrestling tournament here through the school that goes on the weekends. It's a huge event. And then we also have community outreach events. For example, several years ago, we had on one day, we had Tim Tebow, Danny Werfel, Britt Nicole, and For King and Country here reaching out to our entire South Florida community. That was quite an event. And had this facility not been here, that would have never been a possibility. Here we are in our weight facility, training center. We have equipment that's used by all of our high school students, all of our teams, and then also it's open to adults from the church that come in and use the facility as well. And talked a lot about this building and the construction of the building, the Family Life Center, this particular facility. This was all part of God's plan and a dream for Christian education and for the gospel in the Upper Keys here through Island Community Church and Island Christian School. But I want to talk just for a second about the future of Island Community Church. We need to retire this debt because you can imagine what could be done here if we retired the debt. You know, we'll never run out of things to do. The wish list will be endless. If you could look to our left and see this athletic facility, you recognize that it desperately needs to be resurfaced and redone. But we're not going to do that until we retire this debt. We're constantly in need of various repairs and upkeep, but we want to move forward debt-free. I believe this facility should be the premier marine science institution of all Christian schools here in the United States, around the world. I believe that this is a potential for Island Christian School is just beginning. And that's not even talking about what we can do through the church. This facility, this church has been here since 1968. We're about to celebrate our 50th anniversary. And we look forward to the next 50 years being the greatest years of Island Community Church as we expand our missions, as we expand small groups, outreach, as we look forward to discipleship programs that God is already putting in place. But until we retire the debt, we're going to be handcuffed, we're going to be shackled. We've been talking a lot about moving from here to there and how it is just impossible to remain here and to remain in this debt. So we're looking forward to the day when we will be debt-free and the future that God will have laid out for us. Thank you so much.